All right, today we break another research work on Ghana, but this one was conducted in the year 2023 by some Ghanaian researchers. So we're going to break it down for you to know how much pig farming has changed in Ghana over these 2 years. 240,000 pig farmers in 2021. Making that reference, they selected 398 smallholder farmers in some regions. Currently, we have 16 regions in Ghana, but they selected six in 2023 to carry out this particular research. And it was not just clustered at one side, they made sure it was evenly distributed around the whole country. So at the end of it, we are going to compare Ghana pig farming space with some global figures we have, and then you get to decide how you're going to go about your operations. But it will surprise you that in 2023, 2022, 2023, pig was sold at 10.9 Ghana cedis per kilo of it, comparing to today, which is about 35 Ghana cedis per kilogram. That means it has more than tripled. And this will they all account for some factors that has brought about these changes. But the main focus of the research work was to assess the market potential of pig farming in Ghana, and that also comes to the profitability of the industry. So there were some parameters and questions of interest to the researchers, which they carried out perfectly. I really love how they broke down everything for us to understand. So this research also came out that males were the majority in the pig farming space in Ghana back in 2023. I'm not sure if it has changed, but the percentage then was 88%. And the reason being that it is physically demanding and capital intensive. Women might have the money, but they don't have that kind of physical strength to carry feed on the farm and do other activities. So for that, I think it's really understandable. But they found out the average age to be 41-year-old farmer. That is the average. That means we have people below that and you have people above that. But the middle is 41. That is a good representation of the whole population for that particular survey. And for the experience level, they have at least 8-year experience in pig farming. And 10% of them already have some kind of formal education to themselves. Like I said, this is Monday, and we do breakdown research works around the world on pig farming. And today, it is my country's turn, Ghana. So, in assessing how the farmers actually sell their pigs in that year, these were the main channels of sales. You have the direct marketing and also the retail. The retail comprised of the pork joint owners and also the local butchers. And the middlemen also involved in selling of pigs, as well as the farm associations. You have Pig Farmers Association of Ghana and other groups. These were the main ways where farmers were selling their pigs. But it will surprise you to know that Farmer Association was where farmers were making a lot of profit from their activities, but they abandoned that. So the percentage was just 30% of farmers relying to that. Direct marketing and also the retail came up to 80%. This is also understandable. If you find yourself in a larger group, you are able to bargain well because you are speaking on behalf of the entire group. If only your leaders are not selfish, they speak on behalf of the entire group just to ensure that even if you're small, as long as you are in the group, you also benefit from what the large farmers have. That is why you're able to bargain well and then they get that high price. But many of these farmers find it very tiring to join associations and to even go for association meetings, programs. So they just decide to go that direct way. They look for their own markets, struggle to sell the animals, and then maybe at the end of the day, go at a loss. But they preferred it. As long as it works for them, that is their farm. So let's also talk about the prices of pigs in 2022, 2023, and then we compare that to today. So within the 2022 and 2023, pig was selling for 10.8 to 10.9 Ghana cedis per kilograms. And this one, you all know that it was due to the low cost of feed ingredients on the market. And by then, people were trying to restructure what they are doing. But if you compare it to today, which is about 35 Ghana cedis per kilo, you might think we are making a lot of profit today. But if you put in the factors in terms of the feed cost, you can see we are still at the same rate, but we don't know it. Imagine you used to buy 50 kilo of soybean for maybe 250. Now it is going for 450, 470 Ghana cedis. Though you are getting 35 Ghana cedis per kilo of your pig, if you relate it to the previous one, you could see that you are still at the same 10 points. We always say that in livestock farming, the major cost is the feed. But this research came out that 41% of the cost was dependent on feed. 41, 70% or 60. It is still the major cost. So feed in every livestock is the major cost. For this, it has come to stay. If you're able to control the cost of your feed, you are able to make profit at the end of the day. Once researches like this happen, it means they are tackling some challenges and problems. And in the pig farming space in that year, 2023, the farmers complained of the instability of the market. You'll be ready for the market, and the market is not ready for you. That is to say, you can't sell your animals at the price you want. What happens? Many end up giving it as gift. That is if you sell way below what you're supposed to get. And today, it is even happening today in 2025, where you find some farmers selling below 20 Ghana cedis per live weight. But if you join an association or if you know what you're doing, you should charge at least 30 Ghana cedis per kilograms of live weight, whatever you're selling. So that is also one of the problems they came out with. And one of the things they also were able to pinpoint was that farmers were not getting the right information. Yes, I know by then Pigversity was still in existence, but we were not really doing much. We were just trying to scatter everything we are doing. But the research came out, people were not getting used to any information. They don't even know about the changes on the market. And this is one of the reasons why now Pigversity, I am taking it upon myself to bring out what is happening in the industry so you get fresh ideas, fresh information, and they know how to go about your production. Yes, so the research came out that people were not getting the information about the market. So the pricing, they didn't even know about it. The feed, what is even contributing to the high cost of feed, they don't know. And the other challenge was that many of the pig farms were located in more remote areas that they don't have access to good roads. And you know what that means? You are not able to take your product from your farm to where you're supposed to sell it. And you're not also able to get feed ingredient or farm input to your farm because of the bad road. In Vietnam alone, pig farming was employing more than 4 million of the population. Pig farming, the industry alone, was employing more than 4 million people. That should tell you that pig farming is one of the biggest employers we can ever have. So if you compare this to China, which we all know that China is the headquarters of pig farming, in the year 2020, China produced 41 million tons of pork. And as it stands now, China contributes about 38% of the global pork. That means if you employ 1,000 kilograms of pork, China has 380 in it, making them the greatest. So this 41 million tons of pork, if I don't break it down, you'll be confused. What does it mean? 41 million tons means 41 billion kilograms of pork. And if you bring it to Dangote cement, in terms of Dangote cement, that should tell you that China, with the 41 million tons, was producing 820 million bags of the Dangote cement stacked together. Yes, 820 million bags of Dangote cement stacked together. That was what they produced in 2020. But the surprising thing is that in just 2 years, they increased it to 52 million tons of pork in China alone, bringing it to 1 billion bags of Dangote cement placed together. That is China for you. And they've not finished yet. They still import pork into the country, despite the fact that they produce this and consume it internally. Majority of it is consumed in the country. They still import from other countries, which we talk about later. They still imported pork that year into the country. With all these numbers, yeah, that's China for you. All right. And because of the demand over there, China is one of the countries or the only country that has built a 26-story building housing 1.2 million pigs, and they produce that annually. If you've not heard about it, go and find it. All right. Just go and Google it. You will see it there. China has a story building, 26-story building, housing 1.2 million pig every year. They are not here to joke. All right. Africa has a long way to go. Just producing 38 of the global pork alone should tell you that these guys are not here to play. Don't be scared because China has a population of about 1.4 billion people. Yes, so don't be surprised how much they consume pork. This one should tell you that they are actually not enough for them. So Let's not be so surprised that they are producing this number. But I'm just excited for them because, like, no, like, 1 billion bags of cement put together, like, crazy. So you can see if you, I don't know how to even talk about this, but that is it. They're actually doing well. One funny thing about this finding is that it was stated clearly China's pork was consumed domestically. That is the word used, domestically. Nothing goes out. They consume everything inside there. Unlike in the US, where they produce 12 to 13 million tons, which is about 240 million bags of Dangote cement stacked together every year. That is what is produced in the US. But in the case of the US, they don't consume everything domestically. Majority of it goes to China, Mexico, Japan, and also South Korea. And also the third one was the European Union, which was also producing 20.6 million tons of pork in the year 2023. I don't know how much they're producing today, but 2023 they were producing 20.6 million tons of pork. That means in terms of cement, they were producing about 420 million bags of Dangote cement, and they did not also consume everything in their country, but they exported it to the same country. Yes, you got it right, China. Then they exported part of it to Philippines and also South Korea again. That is, they have deficit in these countries. They need to import more of their product back into the country. So compare that to Ghana, which has about 240,000 pig farmers in the year 2023. I don't know how many we are today. But in 2024, the total pig population in the country was 881,000, which means if you even divide that by the 240 pig farmers in 2023, it means each pig farmer was keeping at most 4 pigs on his farm. I don't know how this is. With that large number of producers, if you break it down into the numbers, it means each of these farmers was keeping at most 4 pigs, still less than what we need in the country. All right, so that was the research done by these noble Ghanaian researchers, and they actually came out with a good thing that if you're an investor, you're a policymaker, in terms of you produce feed for the country, you also produce veterinary input. You need to come in and help us, especially with the cost of feed. That was one of the reasons why many of these farmers are still struggling. So there's a need for us to come together as a nation. And this I'm just saying is very similar to other researches conducted in Ecuador. Yes, it's the same thing. Uganda, and then even I think Malawi also, same research works were done there, and they were almost the same findings they came up with. So I think if you're watching this, no matter where you are located, you will be able to make some correlations, and then you get to understand how to also do your thing in your angle. Today is Monday, and we break down research works about pig farming, so you get to know what you're doing. The game you were in, people fear that pig farming will collapse. Let me tell you, people are now entering pig farming more than ever. So if you are just coming in, please come in again. Because in Izhou, that's the city in China, Izhou, where that 26-story building is located, housing 1.2 million pigs annually. Damn. Anyway, that was the research. And again, we are most grateful to the researchers, the team that sponsored or funded this research work, and their time for going about the whole country, getting the data they needed, and sitting down to analyze this work for us to also come here and then talk about it. And for me on Pigversity, my one of my the passions and the jobs I find more interesting to me is to also enlighten people. So once I come out with any document of this sort, I'll bring it to Pigversity channel here and also my pages, just to ensure that you know what is happening. I know we need to help these researchers. You come out with some findings, some good recommendations, but nobody hears about them. These farmers they even conducted the interview on. I'm not sure they even went back to give them feedback. So they just conducted on them. And to me, I'm a Ghanaian. I understand the Ghanaian system. I ever did the research, like my final year project, I did the research where the person even tells you that you at the end of the day, you never even come here and tell me what you found out. You are just here to waste my time. You let me sit with you the whole day. You deceive me with some water, some snacks, and at the end of it, you don't even come back to give me feedback on what I'm supposed to do. So researchers go through a lot to come out with these findings. So let's appreciate them, and I think they will do more for us. There are a lot of articles we need to come up with. We'll go back, bring old articles, compare with current ones so that we know what we're doing right, how pig farming has changed over the years, and what we as pig farmers need to know as we go into the business. Thank you very much for watching. And again, China,